introduce to you Get You Home Towing, a family company with the sole purpose to get you home. Whether you need roadside assistance or transport services, we have a flatbed big enough to transport any vehicle to its destination. Our offer to you is our gratitude and great service at a much cheaper price. We are also open to transport through long distances. If you need us, all you have to do is call that number. I'll see you soon.
Y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all all right? I mean, what's really going on? Thank you so much for tuning in. We are Unhinged Live. I'm your girl, Keita, also known as Nikita Hansford, Tilted Halo, whatever you like. And I'm sitting alongside my good girlfriend, Coach Cash, Karen Sims of Twisted Threads herself. And we are absolutely elated to have another opportunity to come before you tonight with some content that is sure to bless your life, if I must say so myself. You know, we seize each and every opportunity to bring quality entertainment to your ear streets. So, you know, tune in. And while you're tuning in, I want to go ahead and say thank you to each and every last one of our replay viewers that are going to tune in. We appreciate your constant, consistent support. Without you, we are nothing. So we count it not robbery to acknowledge each and every supporter that we have out here. We want to go ahead and acknowledge our supporters in North Carolina. Welcome to the platform. I want to go ahead and acknowledge our supporters in Pennsylvania. Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? It's cold out there right now, ain't it, y'all? Shout out to Jersey. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Africa. Shout out to Texas. That's right. We are global. We are worldwide out here in these internet streets. And before we get into it, I got to welcome my girl to the show because I know she got some fire, some flavor, some sass to add to this part of the show. So, Coach Cash, how are you doing on tonight? I got to check in with you, girl. You're glowing. You got your flowers in your hair. You're looking beautiful on this evening. What's up, girl?
We are doing good. You know, we yet holding on this side of the world. We are still in these turning back the clock time. So we got our daylight saving times ending, meaning it's pitch black by the time we set foot out the job, that part. So trying to figure out how we are maneuvering with that. Thankfully, day 2, because day 1 at this time, it was nap time. I was like, I don't know. It feel like it's midnight. But tonight, I think, you know, that we're rolling into it a little bit better. Officially one day, tomorrow will be a month as we roll into this marriage thing, you know, and I need some more of that beach time wedding weather, but we're gonna see how we continue to progress. So far so good in the week, as well as we got a brand new month as we're here in November and acclimated to all of the things that we're going to get into it, you know, because I got some questions about which holidays we skipped this year.
Girl, can we talk about that for a second? I'm saying, because these people out here in these capitalistic streets are so disrespectful. I'm really having a hard time trying to understand how it is we can go from pumpkin spice to he's making a list and checking it twice out here. How is it that that Thanksgiving, the time when we're supposed to gather together with our friends and our family and be thankful and grateful for everything that we've been blessed to have, we just jump from Michael Myers and them ain't in the house good yet.
I feel like they got more time than us. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not a for or against Halloween. It just is, you know, I'm gonna wear orange when I want to, but that's all. And I'm not here for the pumpkin spice. I don't like it. So I can't tell you nothing about that. But how did they get, since probably July, at least the first week in August, all the way through? And now we are jumping. We skipping past Thanksgiving. Christmas been in the store since July as well. And it's like, you know, I need a little bit of time to just love people better. Because you know how in the middle of the year, even if they get on your nerves, they got some time to redeem themselves before the holiday coming, and you say, okay, I'm a you know, check the list and see if anybody got an update, and they might still get a gift. I'm still I don't know, girl. I ain't that sister. You're gonna help me. I believe you're gonna help me with this.
You know, I'm gonna be right here supporting you, you know, giving you a listening ear, a little conversation, a little commentary, do whatever it is you might need in this season. You know, things are getting strange. And you know, I've been spending some time decluttering my life, this ongoing process, because you know, I got a lot of stuff that I've amassed over the years, absolutely living in abundance. So you know, I've taken a spin on making everything old new again, right? You know, shout out to Tay, because I'm still out here in these Gina Tay streets smelling great. Okay. So hey, as I was cleaning out the closet, I discovered an old iron that I had put away. Right? Yeah, let me talk to you about how this brand new iron I work with straight raggedy.
Listen.
You know, I was out here, I was bored one day, and this is what happened. I was like, I think I need to get me a new iron. Nothing was wrong with my iron, Karen. It was just, I felt like I needed to upgrade because, you know, I
just want to put an alert because I hear a message coming in there. So you say,
you know, what's the word?
Nothing was
wrong with my iron. It, you know, I knew how to, that had to set in perfect, that, you know, whenever I put it down, I know I was going to get the right amount of steam. So I knew it only take me 3 minutes to iron any particular garment. Girl, I'd be out the door and ready. But no, I had to be fast. I was out here trying to be grown. So I got one of these new updated steam irons. And what, girl, this thing started burning up my good stuff. So I discovered that everything old is not necessarily worthless. So I happily put to the side my new iron, y'all. I got an iron to give away to somebody if you absolutely need it. Hear me, it's a new iron. It's just that it doesn't serve the purpose that I need it for. You dig? So I got my old Sunbeam. Now, Sunbeam and I done been through some things, okay? Sunbeam is about 20 years old, and she got some weight on her. She got, we're going to call her Sunny. Sunny is able to get the job done. And you already caught on. It was a message in this observation about, you know, what happened in me discovering something old, not necessarily being useless or worthless. You know, we find ourselves in a day and age where people are looking for the upgrade. They're looking for the new. And I've just really taken some enjoyment and just really finding my way back to the simple pleasures in life, the things that were easy and not so complicated and bring me joy. You know, and even as it comes to my faith, going back to the foundational things of just, you know, just saying, yes, Jesus loves me. Boom. Without trying to be like all masterful and, you know, bringing out some deep thought out message. You know, yes, Jesus loves me and he loves you too. Basic sometimes is better. So shout out to my old Sunbeam iron that's just making my whole ironing and getting ready for work in these streets life a whole lot better. So look, I want to go ahead and familiarize you all with what's going to happen on tonight's show. Of course, I got to give a quick span out shout out. And Karen, I think I see somebody outside. So I'm going to have to cut this quick because, you know, we got some home training and we got to let our guests into the building. I am so excited, but check it out. We're going to give a quick super fan out shout out, and we're going to take a little spin on Merrily Down the Stream on tonight because, again, we try and bring a little joy, insight, and cause you to go, think about yourself as you consider how you're going to continue to flow with others in these very, very interesting days that we're living in. So, of course, I want to go ahead and have a great music spotlight as well. Is that okay, Karen? All right, so can I get the drum roll real quick for the fan out tonight?
Absolutely. All right. Tonight's fan out shout out goes out to none other than the illustrious Terry Moore Smith. That's right. I'm shouting you out, sister girl, my beautiful songbird sister friend. Terry Moore Smith. There are not enough words for me to describe exactly how much this woman of God means to me. I often hear our brother AP yell and scream that she is absolutely one of his most favorite gospel singers. And I can sit here tonight and say that I share the same sentiments. Terry, I just want to say thank you.
for loving me. Thank you for being my sister. And thank you for teaching me how to fine tune the gift of my worship in warfare. How about that? Your worship has been pivotal in my life. And sometimes, you know, when I've gone through some dark days, I have just sat here and heard you worship and connected to a memory of what you sounded like in the moment. So I just wanted to take the time to say thank you for all the hard work you do dealing with us as your team on the worship team up there at Greater Shiloh North. Your love for us and your hard work has not gone unnoticed. And I pray that God continues to extend his blessings on your life, not only double, but triple, quadruple, and forever overflowing, not only to you, but your son and your granddaughter and to your future seed to come, all over your legacy. All right. So look, Karen, let's get into it. We got to bring our guest in on tonight. As Karen, as you're bringing her in, I want to go ahead and give y'all a brief introduction about our guest on tonight. I've had the awesome privilege of being able to work with this Merry Minstrel many projects over the years. I remember when she was this bright-eyed, energetic young thing popping in the room, killing a pirouette like nobody's business. Not only could she dance, but baby, this pint-sized powerhouse opened her mouth as she was just a young teen, and baby sang down Jericho's walls. That's the best way to put it. So it is our absolute privilege and honor to welcome you to the platform tonight. Let me introduce to some and reintroduce to others the extraordinary Juanita Renay Gray. Welcome to the show tonight, Queen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I see that beautiful smile on your face. How was your day?
My day was good.
It was just good?
Yeah, it was good. It was just chill. You know, I didn't have much to do today.
All right. You didn't have to go to the place that pays you or anything?
No, actually, after my last contract, I'm just chilling out for a little bit, you know, trying to be home for the holidays a little bit.
Okay. I feel you. You chill out after your last contract. We're gonna get into that as we continue tonight's conversation. But before we get into it, I always like to give our guests the opportunity to acknowledge anyone they'd like. So go ahead and shout out those people in your life that you feel that you need to, sis.
I mean, of course, always my mama, because you know she's number one. You know, my husband, my kids, my church family. You know, yeah.
Love it.
I appreciate your giddiness, and I hope that you being here has something to do with that tonight, Juanita. So, you know, you just mentioned that you're a wife and that you are a mother, and you just finished your last contract. This is just a question that I just pulled up out the air in your craft.
I mean, it's sort of just like, okay, I go away, I go do what I got to do. But then once I get back, it's back to my regularly scheduled program. Because, you know, I got the kids to tend to, my husband, and he modifies his work schedule while I'm away. So when I come back, it's back to mommy duty, back to, you know, doing what I got to do.
Now, has there been a time that you've come home to some stories that are basically something that you could utilize to, you know, to do a bit on stage where some absolute crazy has broken out?
Oh,
in
for
your
sure.
absence?
My kids are hilarious, and they literally are just mini versions of me. I have two girls, and they're literally just mini versions of me. My oldest one is just very sarcastic, so she does and says anything and everything. My little one, she's like the little Tasmanian devil. She wakes up on 1,000, so she's always getting into something.
Okay, she wakes up on 1,000. So you made something that I often like to speak to young women about. You mentioned that they're just like you. How are you dealing with it right now? Dealing with yourself in
a lot of prayer and supplication. A lot of prayer and supplication, because it's rough.
Has your mother added anything to that? Has
Oh
she said
yes.
anything?
She's like, this is nothing compared to how you were. I'm like, was I really that bad? I'm like, ain't no way. I couldn't have been. Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. But look at you now. That's that. Aren't you glad you were brought up in the house of prayer?
You know, I'm glad I know Jesus, and I'm glad he knows me. I'm glad we talk because I need him every day, every hour. I need him.
Love it, love
That's
it.
awesome. That's awesome. Karen, do you have anything you want to jump in here on in this
Of
conversation?
course, you know, we being also fellow creatives, Juanita, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do theater, and kind of to hone in on that craft, as whether singing and the dancing and just all of the different aspects of entertainment. Where does that inspiration for you come from?
I just always loved music. I mean, I grew up in church, so of course, where I got started was like the church children's church choir. So like it was just singing that was like my main concern and like my main focus for a little while. And then I started going to school, and like my older brother, he actually really inspired me a lot with music because he's a really dope musician. He's awesome. You give him an instrument, he could play it. So like following him around and watching him and going to different gigs with him, and then eventually being able to start singing with him, I was like, okay, I kind of like this. And then like towards like my later parts of high school is like when I got introduced to like musical theater. It's like I could do all these things at once. And I was also, you know, like one of those kids that just kept getting in trouble because, you know, I again, I had no filter, so like I just did and said whatever. So it was either like keep getting in trouble or like try to turn around for the positive and like put my focus and my energy into something else, which would wind up being musical theater. And like from there, I was just like, I love this. Like I literally can get paid to play dress up, and I can be great with this for the rest of my life.
Love that, love
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love it. So check it out. Your most recent contract, you played or portrayed Judas
Mhm.
in Jesus Christ Superstar, and I thought,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
because you know, knowing your heart for worship and just knowing your love for God personally, it's like,
Mhm.
wow, that had to be something.
Yeah.
What? How did you prepare to play or portray the person who was basically the one that sold his boy out? What was that
Yeah.
like for you?
Honestly, I just thought about it from like this perspective. Like anybody could be a Judas in your life. You could have multiple people that can sit there and betray you, whether it be male, female, like anybody could be a Judas in your life. So like I took it from that perspective, like, okay, like yes, I am, you know, Christian, I follow Jesus and stuff like that. But it's also trying to, from the artistic standpoint, trying to take myself out of that and see kind of like the bigger picture to be able to properly tell the story.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. I love that. You said anybody can be a Judas in your life. Now, working in this industry, I'm sure you can relate to what I'm getting ready to say. You can run into some shady characters as you're trying to navigate your way to the appropriate situations to suit what you're looking to accomplish in the brand.
Mhm.
Have you had many negative encounters in your journey to this point?
I mean, I've had a few. Honestly, I have had a few. But genuinely, I don't let it phase me, you know? I got a job to do. I'm gonna keep on pushing. I'm here on assignment. Whether you realize it or not, I'm still gonna push and keep doing what I gotta do. I can't let you deter me from my end goal.
I know that's right. I'm here on assignment, and that's what I absolutely enjoy about doing what it is that the three of us here have been blessed to be able to do. We all sing, we all act, we all write, compose. We add the flavor, no matter where we go.
Yes,
What has it been like for you being a light in certain spaces? I know I've had the opportunity to work as a personal assistant backstage occasionally on Broadway, and I've had the opportunity, as I'm fixing somebody's tie, they've actually begun to challenge my belief system, knowing that I
Yeah.
walk in there as a woman of faith, and then here comes, well, I'm a gay man and God loves me too. Okay. has always been
Yeah.
my simple answer. I'm like, what you want me to say? You think I'm gonna be beefing in here for Jesus? So
No, rather than just trying to be real deep and lay hands on people and try to cast spirits out. Like sometimes you just got to be a listening ear for people. That could be your ministry.
yeah, and yeah, that's it. The ministry of presence is extremely real. And that's the importance of us always being a light. Now, we have shared testimony. That's what it's about here at the platform. We are unhinged. And the three of us share a common testimony of obtaining the title mother in a situation when it doesn't necessarily fit the picture that's been presented to us in our belief set. Did you and I understand that you became a mother, before marriage. Okay. That was
Yeah.
me. That was Karen. That was us. And in those situations in our lives, I'm certain that somebody may have spoken some words to you to discourage you, and to distinguish your life. What
Yeah.
was that kickback like for you and
It was
overcoming it?
honestly a little rough because I mean, it's like I was younger, like pregnant for the first time mom. It's just like I would have expected like most around me to be like, at least supportive. Of course, having their thoughts because, of my faith and how we're supposed to walk through life. But things happen, and like the people that you thought were going to be like at least, that arm there to keep you lifted up wound up being the same people that were like talking about me behind my back and stuff like that. And also wanting to smile in my face, but then still be running their mouth about my situation. But it's also like, it's just like, they talked about a better man, and if he can go up there and still, give his life for us, even though they dogged him and talked about him, who am I to not just turn the other cheek and keep it pushing?
Amen and amen again. Thank you. Clearly, you are standing on a firm, well-established foundation. So I want to give you the opportunity right now because it's just, tingle tangles is working for me right now. I want to give you the opportunity to speak to a young lady who might be tuning in tonight, who might be in that situation. Can you give her some words of encouragement right now?
I would just say, don't give up. The naysayers are just that, just naysayers. Their words don't neither sign your checks, nor do they pay a bill. You are still a great mother. You are still pushing forward, doing what you got to do for you and yours. So the words, don't let them affect you, as hurtful as they may be, and also it might be coming from the people that were closest to you. You just got to keep pushing, because at the end of the day, the ones that are there for you once you get to that platform and once you get to that place in life that you need to be, those are the ones that are riding for you the whole time. So keep going, keep pushing, don't give up, and hold on to the ones that actually mean you good.
Love that. Love that. Love the positivity that you bring, Juanita, because it definitely is needed in the world. And a lot of what we see is kind of that fight against what the folks are saying. And sometimes it's not even the naysayers, it's
Yeah.
our neighbor, it's
Yeah.
our, it might be just generational family practice,
Yeah.
and those type of things. So love the positivity that you bring there, in this space where you're talking about just how you've been able to thrive, and appreciate the words that you shared of wisdom. I gotta bring us to just a thought, and they might be a chuckle, but can you share with us maybe some details of like the worst audition that you ever experienced, where you kind of had to be your own, like, let me encourage myself because this was going left. So, we're here for the inspiration, but we're here for the chuckles too. So I got to ask the question, your worst audition, what happened and how did you recover?
Okay, what had happened was I didn't even recover. I ain't even gonna hold you. I didn't even get to recover. That ball fumbled. It was an L I had to take. I didn't even recover. So I get to the audition room, I'm talking to myself, I got this. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be dope. Going over the songs in my head. I got my sheet music on my iPad. I'm like, well, I'm gonna hand it to the company. It's gonna be great. I get there, sing out the first note, no words came out. I don't know what song I was singing at that point, but no words come out. I said, hey, 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 hey. And it was too far gone to even like try to come up with something to try to improvise, do a riff or run. I just looked at the guy and said, thank you. And I just had to take my sheet music and I had to walk away because It was bad. There was no recovery after that. I was like, I'm gonna just have to take this L and keep it pushing.
I feel like that's a to thine own self be true moment. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Because I did not have it. I could not grab it back. It was lost. It was gone.
Oh my God. You know, I thought it would be comical, but thank you so much for sharing that, because that is a very decent chuckle that I'm getting for that one. Not laughing at you, but definitely chuckling.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm laughing at me because like the words just didn't form. Nothing came out. It was just noise, and I felt bad for the guy to even have to watch me. I was like, "What is happening?" Yeah.
You know, it puts me in the mind when we think of those moments where it was like, Holy Ghost, you didn't even try to, you know, for me. But it just felt like it was like, no, this one wasn't supposed to be for you.
Exactly.
I'm not even gonna let it be a, you know, because clearly if they would have heard your voice, they would have been like, well, maybe we could work with something there. So no words at all.
No.
Yeah, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting anything, but definitely you did not disappoint with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. So I want to keep that going, and you know, you played some interesting characters. What might have been one of your most favorite projects that you participated in?
I guess I would have to say Color Purple. I've done
Yo,
it twice
excuse me.
now.
Hold on. Can we get the clap on that? Can we get the clap on that, Karen? Clap on that, please. We need to clap that up.
Color Purple. We gotta put the clap out there. Yes, we have done the things. Love it.
Listen, you said Color Purple, girl. I'm sorry to just cut you off like that, but not for nothing. It is my show. I can do what I want. But girl, let me talk to you how you captivated and had many an audience mesmerized with your portrayal of Celie. Girl, I got my hand on my hips right here through this here screen saying you did that masterfully.
Thank you.
Thank you. It looked like you poured it out all on the stage. Did you find it challenging connecting in any way at all? Because you know, Celie is a multi-level character.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you developing, doing it Juanita's way?
Yeah. So Celie it's actually been one of my dream roles to do. I literally been quoting the movie since I was like 7. Like, until you do right by me. And literally, like 7 years old, literally just in the back of the church, all my life I had to fight. Like, so I've always loved Color Purple. And like when I saw the musical, I fell in love with them. Like, dang, like I have to play this role. For me playing Celie, it was honestly, it was a little bit taxing mentally, but also freeing in the same breath, because a good portion of Celie's story is my story. So it was being able to tell a story of a woman who was so down bad and downtrodden and stuff like that, but then her wind up coming out on top and being victorious despite all the obstacles that were put in her way and all the challenges and all the people that were coming up against her. Besides all of that, she still wound up prevailing and still wound up pushing forward and did not stick with the narrative that like once a victim, always a victim. She was a victim. She understood that. She pushed past it and made the best of her circumstances and wound up coming out on top.
Love it.
Yes, I love it. Now, listen, you blessed us with it here, and then you took it to the streets. And blessed an audience. What was that? I don't want to mispronounce the name of, was it what?
Ephrata Performing Arts Center.
Thank you. Because you know I got the bi-coastal pronunciation of things. Ephrata, potato. Yeah. She was out there, y'all, and continued to let that magic shine. So speaking of the magic shining, how have you adjusted to being a bit of a celebrity in these streets? Have you had people fanning out on you, girl?
It's actually like really, it's cool. It's just like, dang, like that's dope. Like you like my work, but it's also just like, me talking to people sometimes I get a little awkward, like I'm a little socially awkward sometimes. Like I don't know how to respond to the things. So like one day I was actually getting gas and like I went inside at, can I get 20 on pump number 5? Somebody was like, "Oh my God, I know your voice." I was like, "You were the one. You were her. You played Celie." I was like, "Yes, that was me." And like it's just like, okay, like I say thank you, but it's just like I don't know how to interact. It's just real different. It's cool though, but it's just real different. Cause I like to kind of just lay low and stay under the radar. If I'm not doing the show, I'm in the house. Like I don't do much.
I love it.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Because I wonder, because sometimes, doing what we've done over the years and coming through these ministry streets, people just know you and you got to kind of like, well, where they might know me from. Let me make sure I'm acting right. Because,
Very true. That is very true.
Making sure I keep these September girl vibes in check. Because
where do I know you from and how long have I known you?
Yeah. We've got some things on our resume that we got to make sure that we keep our name in check.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had a moment of silence for myself. So, can I ask you, do you know what's next for you, Juanita? I know it's a whole lot, and I'm certain you have more than one option on the table in front of you right now.
Right now I'm kind of just what we call is like working on like getting new songs for our book with our audition books, songs that we feel like we sing the best. So I'm kind of working on getting new material for my song books, excuse me, and also just submitting auditions right now and kind of just seeing where they take me. Like I said, I'm just chilling for a little bit because just want to be home with my little babies, see them for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But other than that, I'm kind of just chilling, auditioning, perfecting my stuff, working more to perfect my craft even more. So just working on improvement right now.
Okay, well, look, and you brought up Thanksgiving, okay? So, and I'm certain you're going to be spending some time with your family during Thanksgiving. What does Thanksgiving prep look like for you and your household?
Usually, so I love my mama, and like everything happens at her house, so I don't gotta prep nothing, because she love her baby, she love her kids, and she just want her kids around and wants to be able to cook for us. So I'll buy some plates, I'll bring the ice.
Okay.
So we all still go over to her house. No prep over here.
Cash, you all right?
I am okay.
She's like, must be nice.
I don't do none of that. So what was it? 2015 was my mother's. So my mother passed in 2016. I'm not doing all that. Okay, Linda did all of that, and I kept telling them children, y'all better appreciate this because I'm not making no 15 different meats, 14 different desserts.
It's a lot.
It's too much. It is too much. Our first holiday without her, it literally took like 9 of us to do with what she did.
What one person can do.
I just don't aspire for that to be my testimony. When we look in the Bible, we see certain people be like, "This cup shall pass from me, because this ain't the one that I want to drink from." These Thanksgiving streets, listen, okay? I can say we is all too greedy. We not eating all of that food. Like, do we have to have the roast beef, the ham, the turkey, the pork loin, the beef ribs, and the turkey legs? Like, let's the plate ain't but.
Let's dial that back and make sure that we acknowledge one thing that we absolutely need to have after that one day of celebration is over. We absolutely need to have money left in our pockets to pay all of our bills. Can I get an amen? So
amen.
We know what these grocery store streets is looking like, and we see that many of our retailers have already gone on and started their Black Friday sale specials. I promise you, I saw a 65-inch in Wally World the other day when I strolled through for $198, and I almost stopped and had a moment, with my debit card. But thank God I don't need a TV right now, so I kept it moving. But yeah, thank you so much, Juanita, for coming on tonight and sharing a piece of your journey. Again, I'm certain many people in our viewing audience are very familiar with you, and I've been watching you for quite some time. And again, I'm absolutely grateful you said yes when I invaded your inbox. And you
Thank you
the
for having me.
invitation to the show. I often like to tell people, keep an eye out for me, because I
Yeah.
might just pop up in your inbox and invite you to have a conversation. Be also ready, because we love the Lord over here, and He's always ordering my steps and how we bring the conversations forward. You're our sister in faith. You're our sister in the craft, and we're here for you whenever you need us, Juanita. Always an open door policy for you here at the show. Before we transition the show forward, I just want to go ahead and give you the opportunity to share with our viewers and our listeners, where it is and how they can connect with you if they're interested in collaborating with you, because, we're discussing the work that you've been doing on the stage. But baby, I envision you on many types of small and big screens. How can our listeners connect with you?
They can connect with me. They can find Facebook. It's just Juanita Renay Gray on Facebook. And then on Instagram, they can find me at @IAM_Juanita Renay.
I am Juanita Renay. Thank you again for sharing, Juanita. And thank you all for tuning in with us and hanging out with us tonight. We got an action-packed show tonight and a thought-provoking conversation in store for you tonight. But of course, I want to go ahead and transition as we continue to move forward. Listen, we like to spotlight the music here on the show. And tonight's spotlight is very special to me. I had the opportunity of connecting with Lady Deneen Deneen Jones Flag during the pandemic. We were producing our Sunday morning worship services, and I was just hanging out one Saturday morning preparing to do what it was we needed to do. And I just started talking to this woman that was sitting in the sanctuary, and we connected, and it was discovered that we had a mutual heart for serving God's people, and particularly serving God's people with how we use our gift of song. Fast forward, we were invited to participate in the Prison Break Conference that was sponsored by friend to the show, our sister Zion, the voice, Zion Watts. And she actually asked me to connect with our brother AP to be the worship leader for that conference. And, a brother is prayerful, and he just said to me, who you need is Deneen. And I was like, all right, connect me to her. Had a phone conversation with her, and unbeknownst to me, I knew who this woman already was. And listen, there's no such thing as happenstance. God connected us way before I needed to call on her gift as a psalmist, as a herald in song. So tonight I want to go ahead and feature her latest release. It's called I Surrender. I'm grateful to serve on the same worship squad that she does. And I promise you, this woman took me all the way out in worship through a Zoom conference camera. So tonight we're going to take the flow a little different. So prepare your heart to receive a blessing through the melodious songbird, Lady Deneen, with her song entitled I Surrender. DJ Cash. Why don't you go and take it away, sis?
I gotta add a little bit in there about Deneen, because Deneen and I actually went to grammar school together, aka elementary school, and we did not connect until that same conference, where it was like, wait a minute, I know you, you know me, and such a blessing to know that the beautiful person that she was way back then on the playground that God has continued to elevate that and push her forward in front of the crowd. Because I could say nobody would have guessed this. She would have been all right being behind the scenes forever. But when God places such a special gift on our hearts, we want to make sure we're pushing it forward. So here's DJ Cash. You know, we gotta come in with a couple of words and we're going to share and get in it.
My heart, you want me over. Surrender to your will. You have my love. You want me over. Surrender to your will. You have my heart. You want me over. I surrender to your will. Lord, my heart. You want me over. I surrender to your will. No one can take your place. You are the God of love. I will forever worship you. I don't deserve your grace. You are the God of love. And I will forever worship you. You have my heart, Lord. You want me over. I surrender to your will. Oh, I surrender. I surrender. No one can take your place. You are the God of love. I will forever and ever worship you, Lord. Oh, and I don't deserve your grace. You are the God of love. I will forever worship you, Lord. And no one, you are the God of love, God of salvation, God of healing, God of deliverance. I'm forever, no one can take your place, Jesus. You are the God of love, and I will forever worship you. Surrender. Lord, have your way. I surrender. Unto you I surrender. Lord, have your way. Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you. Yes, I do. Everything in me, Lord. Woo! You never breathe me again, Lord.
All right. Bless God. That was such a
that was an
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Not too many things keep us
Yes,
speechless, but
yes, yes. Yeah, that right there. Listen, Deneen, you already know she a whole sniper. She opened her mouth and demons just absolutely confused and don't know what to do, but
yeah.
tremble and flee. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve alongside her, as I spoke before. And I'm grateful for another opportunity to serve alongside her again in the near future. We've been having some conversations, and y'all already know what it is. Tilted Halo be out here in these streets loving on the Lord, letting my light shine wherever the Father might have need of me. Y'all already know I'm a whole shapeshifter in Jesus' name.
Yes.
From the uttermost to the guttermost is where I have every intention on going as I walk out my purpose in life. So check it out.
Yeah.
We putting a whole different spin on Merrily Down the Stream.
Yeah, we set the atmosphere though. We set the atmosphere.
This was a whole thing because those of you who are connected with me, you see that every now and again I throw some power punches out there to make sure that you're doing what you need to do that mirror work and that self-reflection that you need to do to make sure that you're doing everything possible to be active in your own growth process. Not only are we some characters over here at the Unhinged Show, got to remember and never negate the fact that we are some equipped life coaches over here, and I find the purpose in every and all thing. And one thing I've always been focused on, and maybe it's because of some of the cards I've been dealt in life, I've always embraced the gift of pain. So in what can come out of the process of doing the work to heal and overcome from certain levels of pain that you might encounter in your life journey. So I saw a video this week that I posted on the reel, and many of you out there in these metaverse streets took a liking to it. So I thought I'd bring it to the show tonight because it talks about trauma. And y'all know I'm some whole mental health advocates over here and self-care strategists, the whole nine. So take a moment to listen to what the brother is saying in this video right quick.
Now listen, your healing matters because healed people see different. Healed people see different. Healed people think different. Healed people have a different perspective. When I'm not healed, I will use yesterday's pain as today's perspective. Healed people see different. They have a different perspective. Healed so much so to where you could hear what's actually being said without our wounds rewording it. I want us to heal. I want us to heal so that we can stop having the paranoia that's giving us insomnia because the mind constantly replays what the heart fears to feel again. I want you to heal because when you heal, you see different. I don't want you to measure your strength by how much pain you could take. Like, I could turn out all of these lights and my eyes will adjust to the darkness. That doesn't mean I have night vision. What have you adjusted to that God wants to loose from you? What have you adjusted to?
What have you adjusted to? My brother, hit on some points in that video. And I had to marinate on that. And then shortly thereafter, as I was scrolling through these metaverse streets, I came across this one particular meme. And Karen, you posted that it stopped you in your tracks.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, I got to share with you that it stopped me in my tracks as well. That's what made me push me to post it, because I knew if it was resonating with me that way, in that particular moment, it would resonate with someone else. So I want to go ahead and put this up on screen. In this picture, we see what I'm just going to take my tilted time to describe as a beautiful chocolate man. He's got wonderful artwork and tattoos all over his body, and he's well groomed. But this well groomed individual who is presenting as a man walking in his adulthood is looking at a picture of the little boy. I can imagine that is inside of him that is still crying over something that he didn't have the opportunity to just get over at that moment in his life. And it was captioned, "You gotta face your childhood traumas." We're gonna have a conversation about some traumas and some childhood traumas that cause us to rehearse a painful past that God has no intention on any of us carrying forward with us as we journey through this life with him. Now, y'all already know Revelation 12:11 is one of my absolute favorite scriptures, where it tells us that we overcome the adversary by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. So I guess, this is going to be testimony time too, because somebody needs to hear that it's okay to talk about your traumas. Not only talk about them, face them. Because sometimes we talk about we done been through some things, and some people we've recognized they're walking around carrying their traumas and waving them as a badge of honor of sorts, not realizing that sometimes that has them standing in the position of looking a bit of a jester, if that makes any sense. It looks a little bit foolish because you might be like, hey, this happened, but what we really see is you bleeding all over somebody. We see you practicing some abusive behaviors toward yourself. We get to hear that you haven't overcome by just the self-talk that you share when you're out there amongst these streets. What are you referring to yourself as? Sometimes when we don't heal that little girl or that little boy inside of ourselves, we begin to speak the words, the lies that someone tried to convince us that we were supposed to be after this moment in time. But tonight we want to go ahead and talk about how looking into those situations and doing the work of moving past them can actually change the trajectory of your life. Some of you who've been riding with me for a while, that I broke into the radio world after I took a flight home to California, after walking away from my town and my friends and my upbringing 25 years later. I was away from my hometown and my friends and the people that I knew loved me because there was some trauma that I had lived through while I was in that space. While I was yet that talented little girl participating on the cheerleading squad, Black Student Union, journalism, student leadership, vocal chorale, show choir. The list goes on and on. That little girl was dealing with some things, was dealing with some lies that she had been told, and dealing with levels of abuse that many would not have had the mental capacity to overcome. I was handed some cards that I didn't necessarily know how to play. So I had to do the work. And part of me doing the work of becoming this person, this trailblazer that you see on the platform tonight, is I had to go look in the face of my fear. And I, in that part of my journey of going to reclaim my sister and my nieces and my nephews that I had never met, I recognized that it was fear keeping me away from what I knew I needed. So I went back to reconnect. And what I discovered that I was a whole different person 25 years later. Boom, no longer that broken little girl who was reliant on somebody else who wasn't necessarily equipped to protect me. But not only was I no longer that girl, the people that I walked away from who I thought might have held on to some of the shame that I lived through with them, baby, them people shower me with so much love. And it was like I had walked into a situation similar to what we know about God. When he forgives and when he changes us and rearranges us, he throws those things into the sea of forgetfulness. And I was living life in those moments as if it never happened. As if it never happened. And that's why it's important to really address trauma, even the details of it. Somebody might have something to say, but check it out. You don't have to be a prisoner of your painful past. One of the things I like to share with people, it is not necessarily healthy or the healthiest option to go ahead and rehearse those things over and over again, because every time you speak a word, you're building a brick of entanglement for yourself. You're building a moat to surround yourself, where you can't necessarily push past the self-talk that you're speaking. You want to talk about, hey, somebody molested me when I was a kid, but you were also given the tools, hopefully, if not through counseling, through the connections that you've made in life to hey, girl, you ain't got to do this. You don't have to
that way.
What's up, girl?
I said, and it doesn't have to be that way.
It doesn't have to be that way. So I'm glad you interjected there, Karen. I'm certain you have something to share on this topic, dealing with them childhood traumas and the imaginations they create. Go ahead, sis.
I think that is very important. We could have saw a picture with any adult, with any child, and it would have resonated differently. But what stopped me in my tracks was the powerful image of not just a chocolate brother, but a strong man with all of the muscular outside physical attributes that would say, I can fight and win. And when we set ourselves up mentally for that, I can fight and win. But what we actually see hitting us in the face is not what everybody else sees, and so it comes to some conversations really, and Tilted, you and I, we always talk about this multidimensional, because it's not just how do we address childhood trauma as adults, but also how does the effects of that show up in relationships, and are we equipped to even be bothered? How about that? A lot of us are like, nah, you know what, I'm gonna head out. That ain't what I'm not trying to hook up to that one right there, when in fact sometimes the assignment, and I laugh because I know a lot of us may have encountered that. You might be living it right now, where it's like, you know what, that ain't my testimony, but I can't let this person go. And it's not a romantic thing, it's an assignment thing to remind them that, even though I may not have no time for you, God still love you, boo. And how do we set ourselves up for success? Because we've been mostly taught. So let's talk about what generationally we were either taught or not taught. We were taught about, and I promise you, I just had this conversation with somebody. There were certain things that my mother taught me, even though she was a married woman. She taught me how to take care of myself in every situation. And she was right about that, because guess what I did? I, in turn, taught my daughter that. But I also taught my sons that from a different perspective. And now I'm teaching daughter-in-laws that, because everybody ain't grown up with a Linda. So I got to keep the lessons going. But it's a thing when we think about, how do we give ourselves the time to address and handle our childhood traumas, and a permission to be vulnerable in the appropriate spaces. And so that's one side of it. The other side of it, can we be safe spaces for our loved ones to walk out of those traumatic experiences, to walk through sort of a imagine a grown person, we think of Nicodemus in the conversation of him saying, how can I be born again? I'm a grown man. I can't go back to my mother's womb. But in that sense, that is a lot of the work that we have to do. And the reason why we thank the God, and if these people don't stop calling, I promise you, shout out to Lamont. Today is his birthday. Your mama love you. But we working right now. In the midst of all of this, it's about how can we show up and be safe places for other people so that we're not dragging people in life, because that's what happens if they're not dealing with childhood traumas. They'll look like on the outside strong and vigor and they can take anything when in fact they're crying inside. And one thing we want to remind you all here, all of our Tilted Tribe folks, we're not here. Yes, you're going to have difficult days, but we're here to support you so that you can walk yourself through that. Why? Because we know the power of deliverance. When a brother said, when you are healed, you see different. Now imagine that email. Come on, y'all. Imagine that email that you read, Tilted, and you done rolled your eyes because you done put all of the spice and hot sauce in the email. When the email actually said, are you leaving early today? Right. You could have just said that. Now you like, this girl all in my business. Why she need to know? She ain't my boss. She ain't not. This is how that trauma shows up. If you have a voice to your emails, raise your hand, put your own self on the prayer list and ask the Lord to deliver you from you. Because it could be that simple. It's not, we could talk deeply about the traumatic experiences that we've had in childhood, sexual abuse, physical abuse, all different types of abuse. And then sometimes because the last person who you dealt with was kind of shady in their emails, now all the emails are shady and everybody's trying to be after you because you made it up in your mind that Sally don't like me. So now every time Sally send you an email, even though Sally don't even talk to you like that, when you open it, that part, when you open the email, you like, she coming for me. Is she really? Or she wanted to know, really? Hey, Tilted, are you taking the Wednesday off before Thanksgiving? Because we got a policy, only a couple of people go out. But I don't want to put mine in if you're going to put yours in. Now, yeah, it's a little bit of being nosy. But in the midst of that, it's sort of like, how can we remove our traumas even from our communication? So it's not even that we hear different. We receive different. We read an email different.
Girl, I love that. I love that. Because, as you talking, because I want to move the conversation towards, trauma bonding, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
Yo, girl.
Cuffing season.
It's cuffing season, y'all, and there's so many levels to the trauma bonding, though, and what the scenario you just laid out and utilize your inner talk, that inner inflection when you reading that particular email from Sally, and you and Sally had beef, and now it could be on site as soon as she hits send and it pop up in your inbox. Listen, trauma bonding is real, y'all. Be careful, ladies, out here. It's cuffing season, and we all got the playbook at this point. We always trying to give the warnings that you give y'all a refresher, because every year they try and update the playbook and think they're gonna create something new under this here sun that the good Lord gave us. But there's nothing new under the sun. Ladies, be careful about the trauma bond. So I keep talking trauma bond because so many relationship gurus are throwing this around here. But trauma bonding is actually a psychological response to abuse. It occurs in an abused person in a form who forms a connection or a relationship with a person who abuses them. The bond is created due to a cycle of abuse and positive reinforcement. That sounds crazy. How could you be anyway all at the same time? Anyway, trauma bonding can occur in relationships with a cyclical pattern of abuse, such as a partner, parent, or friend. We talked about, everybody can have a Judas in their life and they come in the form of a friend. Look at Jesus. The abuser often alternates between treating the victim poorly and showering them with positive attention. The alternating forms of treatment can lead to a strong psychological bond. The trauma bonding typically affects people who have been abused in the past, often in childhood, but also sometimes in previous relationships. Now, some of the signs of trauma bonding includes developing sympathy for an abusive person. The abuser alternating between treating the victim poorly and showering them with positive attention. The victim being strongly bonded to and sometimes even idealizing the abuser. Oh, girl, he only treat me like that because he love me. Heavy on the side A on that one. The victim experiencing a rush of heady emotions or a sense of safety and trust from the early commitment. Be careful of these jokers that try and put a title on the situation too soon, because that's what we often know as the love bomb. But love bombing can also be a manipulation tactic in a friendship relationship as well. I need you all to pay attention, because as we are growing, we've got to be careful of the connections that we are making. We have got to be careful that we are not bonding with trauma that we ourselves are trying to move past so we can live our best lives now. So some examples, again, of trauma bonds: rescuing and enabling saving each other. Ladies, don't be bringing in no homeless Negroes this season. And that goes for some of you brothers too. You know, Belle Biv DeVoe and them had said, never trust a big butt and a smile. And, you know, Sally Mae and Sally Sue and them is out here looking real fine. They got waist trainers and all kind of enhancements.
You don't know what you gonna take off.
All right, so be careful with what you rescue, because it's a whole lot of strays out here in the streets, y'all. Now, then there's the trauma bond, you know, chronic fear of abandonment. Some of us need to make sure that we acknowledge the fact that we have had some abandonment issues in the past. And that's something that you can bond over. Oh, I'm here to rescue you real quick, right quick. Is he really your Boaz? Or is he somebody with a Poaz that's showing up in your life to throw you off the mark? Check it out. Do you betray yourself?
It's good, y'all.
To be chosen? Is this what we're doing? Do you betray yourself in your needs to be chosen? Now, I know it's hard out here in these streets for everybody. And, you know, Joseph, Jonathan, Jack, John, whoever he might be, she might show up and they might be a little short. Baby, don't be paying nobody else's rent before you can pay your own.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
Okay.
Come
Keep
on.
score. Uses intimate knowledge against one another. This is what we are not going to do. Back in the day, they told a lie to us, y'all. They said sticks and stones might break our bones, but words will never hurt us. That was a lie from the pit of hell. Because at the end of the day, I wake up every day to some random commercial offering some type of medication to help someone deal with their mental disorder, because some words that someone spoke to them actually hurt them and actually cause them to live their lives on pause. Listen, don't play dirty, y'all. Don't use intimate. Don't do that. Don't connect on the intimate knowledge that you can throw in somebody else's face as a type of power play. We're not doing that no more in the year 99, 2000 and years forward. Now, the emotional addiction to each other, separation or fear of separation from person. That's what we call enabling behavior. A little too needy. Be careful on that trauma bonding thing. These are signs of trauma bonding. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Giving y'all some flags to pay attention while you're out here in these streets trying to live your best life now. Now, let's talk about authentic connection. Authentic connection, right? Because we got some authentic connectivity here on the show, don't we, Karen? You saw what I posted that you had said.
That part. Now, I want to add one thing to the. I want to add one additional thing to the trauma bonding.
What's up, sis?
Make sure you're healing yourself, because your need to connect with these people is also the largest sign of the trauma bonding. Our sister Naturel D said that, like that need that I can't be by myself. What I'm gonna do? I'm the last person, never gonna have a significant other. Take time to check that need. because it will create opportunity for you to not only be a victim of trauma bonding, but for you to perpetuate yourself into those situations. If you're looking for change, it got to start with what you're doing in your life. So
I love it. So we're talking about authentic connection right here. Now, authentic connection tends to involve learning and witnessing and evolving together, having experience together, that can hopefully replace some of the conversations that you don't need to have. The conversation that's absolutely that's stunting your growth. Replace that conversation with intentionally taking the time to learn. How did that impact? It's okay to talk about it. This happened to me. Okay. So how did that shape your life? And what have you implemented to make sure that you don't perpetuate the same situation in your life moving forward, and moving forward, even in the connection, in the relationship, whether it be an amorous relationship, or whether it be just a simple agape friendship type relationship. Learning, witnessing, and evolving together is key to authentically connecting with someone. Now, you want partners who are going to work to create safety with each other. Now, y'all already know what it is. We live in a YOLO, anything goes society, where so many people just feel like they could do whatever they want to do, and they negate that their behavior may not be beneficial to the people that are surrounding them. So you want to make sure that you're partnering with people who create safe spaces for you, so that it doesn't, even trigger past trauma, because at the end of the day, we still human. We like to refer to ourselves as superheroes, Superman, Superwoman, with all of the things that we're tasked to master every single day. But ain't none of us superhuman. And even our faith does not negate us from our own humanity. So we got to make sure that we honor our own needs and limits, and the needs and limits of others. This is something that we often hear referred to even as boundaries. And we need to make sure that we honor the boundaries of even the little people in our lives. I know you've had situations, Karen, where your grandchildren have expressed some of their little needs and limits.
They do. And it's very interesting because, these children's today, they have read the manual before they got here, that part. So they set boundaries. They know I want this. I want to go with Mimi. I don't want to go to bed. I want one more thing. No, we're not eating out. I want tacos. Well, that was just today. Shout out to Carson. They know what they want. But part of that is that as parents, we're and grandparents and aunties and the village, we are directing them on even then how to create those, what we said, authentic connections, and being able to sit there in somebody's presence. So, when we talk about go for coffee, it ain't about the coffee. It's about the time that you are getting to figure out, how does that person breathe? Does when they breathe get on my nerves? Can we hold a intelligent conversation? Are we talking about the same thing? So birds of a feather flock together. These are things that organically can happen if you create organic space for it to happen. As you mentioned, a child can do it. It's not even a hard thing. So it's not like, we hear people, well, I'm not really a social person. You don't have to be. If you sit there and somebody say hello back. If you both wind up in the same thing and you have a conversation, maybe you're at an art gallery. Oh, wow, this is a great piece of art. Oh my goodness, you see how much these oxtail cost while we trying to do, we ain't having no oxtails at Thanksgiving. Let me just put that side note, the way these things is coming up. But it gives us the opportunity to be reminded that the two real key words in the authentic connection is the connection and just realness and transparency in our connection. So be vulnerable enough to somebody that you don't got to have the hard answer for everything, but show up being real. If you don't know, say what it is.
That's it. It's all kind of, nuggets dropping. It's like little a minefield we walking through in this conversation tonight, Karen.
This is a good one. We tell
Yeah,
it.
man. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have this portion of the conversation here on the platform tonight. While we're here, I want to go ahead and take a pause for the cause and acknowledge some of the folks that I see out there in the comment streets. I want to go ahead and acknowledge Terry, our fan out shout out tonight.
Yeah.
Sis showed up in the comments tonight. We see you, girl. We love you. Thank you for tuning in. We see beautiful mom Hazel out there in these streets.
Yeah.
It looks like she had a moment, an encounter herself with the Lord when we played Sister Janine's song, her music on tonight. We're grateful for your covering, for your prayers, Mom Hazel. We know you keep us covered because you understand the assignment that we have here on the platform. We appreciate you, sis. And of course, I see you, Natural D, out there keeping it in these comments always. Bringing forth some of the things that you find absolutely insightful from tonight's conversation. Thank God for the authentic connection that we have with you, sis. Thank you for everything that you're continuing to do to build your brand, yourself, us here as our sister with the Tilted Halo tribe. We appreciate you, sis. Going back to the conversation about authentic connection, this is it. This is something that I'm really embracing, especially at this juncture of my life, because maybe 20 years ago I would have found certain things boring in something that I didn't absolutely need. But this is something that I need right now. It's absolute requirement for just every relationship I enter. Predictability, security, peacefulness that can sometimes feel boring to people. I was laughing at myself, as I was preparing for today and the things I needed to do. I was laughing because I was like, Lord, I'm a busy person for somebody that's always in the house. If that makes any sense. I was like, wow, I absolutely appreciate that in the middle of what my perceived busyness might be, there's still the comfort of stability, the predictability. I'm finding some comfort in that, as far as some of the I don't know how we found enjoyment in some of the unpredictable craziness that we were living 20 years ago. What was that about? I find security absolutely priceless, along with my peace. So, when predictability, security, peacefulness that used to be boring to you shows up in your life, I need y'all to look at that thing and embrace that as something that's going to be critical to your life. You might want to connect with that because it's in those spaces I find that you learn. When you, again, are celebrating authentic connection, it really helps you overcome. And again, using myself as a testimony, authentic connection is the reason why the platform is here now, child, because I connected with some folks authentically.
Yeah.
And we've had some conversations and established the trust where we know we can have these conversations and nobody gonna be talking crazy. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna share thoughts and ideas that's gonna help us get rights amongst each other. Karen, is there anything else you would like to add to this conversation?
Listen, loving what you were saying and just agreeing in the amen corner. You got to put yourself out there, show you want friends, show yourself friendly. And that's kind of interesting bottom line to be able to say, here's the foundation of where you build off of. We're looking to do great things. And if you about that inspiration and I'm about that inspiration, we get to move in greatness together. So that's an amazing thing. I'm here for it.
For all of the things. Thank you all for tuning in. We are Unhinged Live. I'm your girl, Keita, Tilted Halo Broadcast Media Entertainment. Life purpose coach extraordinaire. And tonight we're kicking some knowledge, the purpose in your pain. The purpose in it is to help you overcome some of the childhood traumas that you may have or may not have experienced, or even giving you a little bit of empathy for someone that you may be connected with who might have a story that's a whole lot different than yours. We're talking about the power of connection as a form of healing, a pathway of healing in those relationships tonight. So as I'm talking about it, y'all know I got my good girlfriend, Karen Sims Harrell, Coach Cash herself, Twisted Threads, LLC, our master life coach, sitting alongside me, kicking that knowledge about, you know, her experience. Talk to us a little bit more, you know, because I know you, Karen, you know, you and your husband, your good husband, brother Alfred, y'all are a power couple. Did y'all the Black power couple at that? And I see the two of you actively utilizing the tools that your intelligence has afforded you, of making sure that as you continue to grow together in your ministry of marriage, that you're making sure that you might address any residue.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it, you know, because it's about that time for that reflections of purpose too. So we gonna get into it and give you about maybe 90 seconds to 2 minutes of some goodness.
I don't know, Karen. Something is telling me I need to let you out the gate for longer.
I'm okay with that today.
Huh?
I said I'm okay with that today because we got some things, you know, because tomorrow marks a month of me and this married life, and I done told y'all all this free counseling is gonna cost. So the limited time offer about to come to a close while I'm an expert. Okay, that part. In all things marriage, I said it. Yes, this is a play on some of our other brethren and sistren who once they get married, they just know everything. And it's like, that's interesting. Did you know something when you were single? So we may or may not be pointing out some things, not just to the married folks, to the single folks, whatever your relationship status. I think, you know, it's important for, especially, I love the direction that we took today. Shout out Zion. We see you, sis. Thank you. And everybody who's joining us today, because we all have we have experienced some form of trauma. And then you decide, he cute, I'm cute, let's be cute together. But I have to say, one of our first conversations, my now husband said to me his full-on intentions. And he said, you know, I don't know if you're the one, but I want you to know what I'm here for. I'm here because I want to be a power couple. I was like, okay, check. You know, I'm here because I want a godly woman. Okay, check. And I was like, be careful, because you don't know what you're saying. You know, a lot of people, that's a commodity. It sounds like I want a Bentley till you don't know where to park it. Okay, that thing right there. So just because you want it don't mean you ready to handle it. And then we had to go through it, still walking through this space where it's like, how do I make space for his trauma? And how does he make space for mine? Because saying I do, then fix that stuff, that's a trigger for me. Saying I do, you know, you still talk sweet to me. You can't yell at me, because it's a trauma. You know, I'm from Jersey. There's an automatic trigger that, you know, if you hit on a landmine, it's going to be something else. But I want to remind all of us just that as we go into that, and I'm going to give a little bit of the reflection of purpose, because here's the deal. When you say, okay, I see the timeout on that.
Yeah, flag on the play, timeout. Because like I said, feel like you're going to need a little bit more than the 90 seconds that you claiming for yourself. So I'm going to take, because remember I had said it early in the show, we get to do what we want to do over here on these streets. So, because you were already in the flow. So thank you for allowing me to jump in and just adjust it and put that title on it as you begin to go ahead and pour out what God has given you for us on tonight, Karen. Listen, y'all already know what it is. If you haven't already been encouraged by tonight's conversation, get ready. We about to receive just a little bit more from our very own in-house master life coach, Coach Cash herself, Take it away with the reflection of purpose.
So here we go with this. All right. Y'all know I always come with a title. And today's title is Change the Sheets and Flip the Mirror. Change the sheets and flip the mirror, because in this space where we talked about healing, we talked about the benefits of being healed, hearing healed, communicating healed. There's a process to this. Talked about cuffing season, talked about this trauma bonding. Listen, perfect timing for all of these. Sometimes, I love it because Tilted and I, we have like deep production meetings. And then sometimes the Holy Ghost just show up and say, y'all gonna have a bomb show, and we here for it. Today being one of those days. Change the sheets and flip the mirror. When do we often change our sheets? A lot of us, this is something that I would be mindful of all of the time. But now, we got all these sheets, and I got to, make sure that the house look like something at least 1 out of 7 days, whatever. So we making beds. I never, that wasn't really never a thing for me, but we're changing the sheets. Why? Because we want to make sure we keep that freshness there. We want to make sure that where we are sleeping, where we're laying our head, where we're looking to get rest, that is not turmoil there, that, we're not eating the cookies and the ice cream and spilling it all over the place. But if something happened, that in the midst of when things happen, you change the sheets. So it's okay. And we want to remind somebody, maybe life was messy yesterday. Maybe life is messy today, but you get to change the sheets and then be able to create a comfy atmosphere. I love it because, last week I was having a bad day. This week I wasn't having a bad day, but my husband bought for me one of those massaging pads, and to heat up and to do all the things. Child, I just was like, ooh, I got an hour. And then I had to tell somebody to wake me up because I already knew what it was going to be. But we get that opportunity to say, even on good days, we could flip things around. And here's the portion about flipping the mirror. Many of us, it's not just relationship that it's not just relationships. It's not just our individual thoughts that sometimes get in the way, but our image of ourselves is not put forth before us. You cannot fix what you're not looking at. Many of us looking at a mirror, and it's time to flip that mirror. Sisters, y'all know when we do the makeup, if we try to put the lashes on, we flip it. Why? Because there's a different reflection that we see when it's 10 times the regular size. Some of us keep looking in the regular mirror and we seeing the flaws, we seeing the things. But when you get right into that complexion mirror and it show you your pores, and it's like, you know what, I ain't never seen that before. But you know what happens when you flip the mirror? You get a realistic view of what you need to work on. We cannot get better for the things we don't work on. You cannot impress with the things you don't address. So, I felt like Jesse Jackson. Go ahead, Jesse. We have to take the time to say, is there anything that I need to address for me? The one thing that I've learned about marriage has nothing to do with my husband right now, because it's me in the mirror. And so I'm using me as the example. I'm using me because I need to make sure, how do I make space for some of the Southern rituals that, he had to do. A lot of times, he liked to introduce me as a Northern. He called me a Yankee, y'all. He got one more time. And then I ain't really sure. Like, listen, that part there, I'm going to tell him I'm going to call Keita, and he already know what that means. I ain't no Yankee. That's all I got to say on that. But there's some Southern traditions that I need to understand before I jump on, because I'll be like, nah, partner, we're not doing that. But I need to know, like, what's the significance of this? Where did this come from? Why is there maybe an obstacle there? And then the same thing for me. I'm coming into this and having dispel every thought that was fed to me about marriage, that some of that stuff don't come in my size. I ain't gonna be able to cook every day. He don't eat every day. So he don't want a full meal every day. So that's fine. Oh, I need to do this on this particular day. Here's our free day. Let me just sit down next to you and let's breathe together. Like, these are things that I don't know if everybody knew that. Let's have the money conversation. Are we good? Yeah, we good this month. We good for next month. Honey, we good for a couple months because God is good. But that's not the point. The point is, are we having conversations? And here's where the funny part is. And this worked for our relationship. I don't know what you do for yours. We then got to get away from each other. Don't nobody say that. Like, it is okay to be like, all right, boo, you going that way, I'm gonna go that way. I'm gonna see you at dinner, I'm gonna see you at lunch, and we get to build that. And so I want to remind you that although we laughing about it being cuffing season, if you desire to be in, I don't care if it's relationship with a boo or just your cousins in them, you got to figure out what is the time that you need. Keita say it all the time. She be busy, but in the house. How that happened, I don't know. I think she just dip a big toe outside and then she bring it back in, and then those things. But if you are not to thine own self be true, know what you need to function, get in it, change the sheets and flip the mirror, because you are worth it. You're worth the work. You're worth the time. And life, I promise you, literally is going to get better just because you took care of those household chores in your personal life. Change the sheets, flip the mirror. That's what I got. Tilted. You know.
It's all good. I love it, love it, love it. Thank you for sharing, Karen. Hey, I'm a poet and I already know it. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. Amazing conversation, awesome flow. I'm excited that I didn't fan out and stutter all over myself with tonight's guest, Juanita Renay. It was amazing to hear her speak. Again, I remember when she was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young lady before she was somebody's mama, child. I remember when she first started dating her husband. Now she a whole wife and things. You know what I'm saying? But, again, blessed to have the opportunity to highlight some of the greatness happening among us. And next week's show is shaping up to be pretty awesome as well, Karen. I'm excited. How about you?
Me, I'm excited.
All right. So we getting ready to close the doors of the church tonight. Before we go, yeah, I got to make sure that I remind you all to just be. But tonight it's going to be a little different because, I like to, keep a little razzle dazzle with the folks. But check it out. Just be mindful. All right. We just came up out of daylight saving time weekend, y'all. Make sure that you're checking the batteries in your smoke alarms, fire detectors, all of the things. Because, we've already seen some stories where people have experienced some things, unfortunately, because they weren't necessarily prepared. And the general population and public likes to try and make sure they remind us to change those batteries as we experience this whole time change thing. And while you're checking those 9-volt batteries and those things, also make sure you take the time to check your internal battery as we are moving into the holiday season, where many of us are going to be in situations that are legitimately trauma triggers. Remember that God lives inside you and you have the power of prayer. So when you're lost, out of focus, and you can't seem to find your way, stop, pause, take a knee, make some time to pray. It's your girl, Tilted Halo. Your girl, Keita, in the building, sitting alongside Coach Cash. Thank you, good girlfriend, for another amazing show. We are Unhinged Live. Until next time, y'all, we are out. Peace. Peace.